Christmas was a few weeks ago. We might look like a couple of Rudolphs with our red noses from the colds that we had over that season, but we can smell and taste just fine. We do not know what we're sipping, though. So you're going to get this head-to-head completely blind so that you get the most honest opinions possible.
Welcome to Stuff and Whiskey. I'm Erin.
I'm Josh. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you are new here, I'm a whiskey nerd, whiskey enthusiast, whiskey hobbyist. Erin is a social sipper.
Yep.
She doesn't really drink whiskey at all unless it's with company. And I happen to live here since we're married.
You count as company for this instance.
Right. So that's the dynamic we bring to this. You're going to get a little bit more nerdy knowledge from me. Erin's going to bring a little bit more of a down-to-earth opinion to you. And we're just hanging out drinking whiskey like we would if you were here in our home, in our lounge space here with us. And we're going to give you the honest opinion on these pours because we don't know what we're drinking. So it's going to be honest, maybe brutally so. Let's get in the glass one and see what we think. Wow. That is just red candy sweetness.
I just, off camera, blew my nose. Josh and I are both getting over colds, and that burned.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It does have a bit of astringency on the nose. And we did warm up and make sure our palates were right. We weren't going to record if we couldn't smell or taste anything. We're good there.
Yeah.
We're just dealing with some post-cold congestion.
Yeah. This smells strong. That's all I can smell right now. I need to taste it.
It, to me, has like a real red candy type of sweetness.
Okay.
And very sweet forward, very alcohol forward. Smells pretty good, but smells like we might be walking into something high proof.
Yeah.
Cheers.
I don't know if you put red candy in my mind, but it tastes like red candy.
That is what it tastes like.
Yeah.
Tastes like red candy and proof.
And alcohol. It's like dipped in alcohol, like a boozy red candy.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of is it. And to me, the way that this red candy's coming across, and I'm not trying to guess what it is, but it's kind of coming across the way some ryes come across.
Okay.
With like a red candy sweetness.
I've never gotten that from ryes. That's
really
interesting.
I get it on well-aged ryes.
Interesting. Okay.
But this is a wild pour. Can't trust that first sip, though. Second sip.
Yeah. I can't get past, like, red candy. Almost like a lifesaver, like a red lifesaver.
Yeah, that's the perfect candy analogy. There's that, but then underneath that,
alcohol.
I'm getting, that and alcohol, and underneath those two things, I'm getting a thread of caramel and oak. There's a darker element coming into this pour.
You're fancy. I'm not getting that.
There's like that, there's all these high notes up here. Like if you think about it like a musical register, you got all these high notes going on first sip. That second sip brought some of the bass notes in, and it's lingering.
Because I'm
down
all
in the
about that
chest.
bass, don't you know? No trouble.
I do know. Nothing but trouble.
Treble.
No, I'm saying you're nothing but trouble.
Oh, whatever. That's not true.
All right. Glass 2 on the nose.
This smells alcohol-y as well.
Well, it is alcohol.
I know, but sometimes things jump out at you more alcoholic, more ethanol forward than others.
Yeah.
This is one of those things. Both of these are one of those pours that, like, it's very high on the ethanol fumes.
Yeah, I'm getting that too. I'm getting a little bit more of like a spice type of note on this.
Yeah.
And I'm getting kind of a similar red candy sweetness to the first glass.
Interesting.
But this is coming across a little darker in profile on the nose to me.
Okay.
It has a little bit more of that caramel, oaky type of vibe to it. Let's get it on the palate. Cheers.
I'm getting red candy here as well, but it's not as sweet. It's a little more earthy almost. Like maybe there's some dirt in the red candy.
Some dirty red candy. You dropped your lifesavers.
I dropped my lifesaver on like the pavement.
On the playground? In the dirt?
On the pavement in the parking lot.
Oh, okay.
And then I picked it up real quick because 5-second rule, and then ate it.
The 5-second rule. As a kid, I would do the 5-second rule. As an adult,
it's not true, but I still say it.
As an adult / borderline full-on germaphobe, we're not 5-seconding it.
Yeah, no, it's not a thing. Like, it's scientifically, I think, very inaccurate. But at the same time, I just ignore that part.
So I went back to the nose. I'm getting a savory type of note. And I don't know if we cooked chili earlier or something. That could be
maybe
a savory note that I'm getting just in the air. But
you're getting savory on the nose?
Yeah, I'm getting savory on the nose. But I got to revisit the palate. It did come through darker. And I see your earthiness, but I'm still getting a lot of sweetness off of this, and I'm getting a lot of similar flavors to the first glass.
It's similar-ish. Like, it's family. I feel like they're related.
Possibly. Second sip.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kind of red lifesaver. Maybe not as strong of a flavor of red candy. It's a little more subdued red candy. But I'd like to take a little bit of time and try this one first and then go back to this one and see how that changes glass one.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to, because I think that these taste very similar.
Yeah, I feel like they're related. They have
Yeah.
to be related in some way.
Yeah, they almost feel like they could even be from the same distillery or at least comparable profiles. I can absolutely see why whatever these two pours are were matched up together. Oh, I wonder if this is a curveball matchup.
If it's the same thing.
Where it's the same thing. We have all kinds of matchups to keep us on our toes. Most of things in our pool are available versus allocated, so we can see if the allocated stuff actually stands up as being better. If that's the case here, one of these is not jumping out over the other one at all.
Correct.
But this could be a curveball matchup. So who
see.
knows? We're going to spend some time with them, get our favorites, get our rankings. We'll be back with that in just a second. Time much needed for me. This is close but clear for me.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Same. Close but clear. My clear winner is glass one.
Okay.
But only because I feel like it is just a little more concentrated than glass two. They taste very similar.
Yep.
When comparing them, I tasted glass two first and then went to glass one. Glass two seemed like for lack of a better term, a watered down version of glass one.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily the most accurate. It's not watery, but it just seemed like a lighter all the flavor dials were turned a little lower on glass two in comparison to glass one when I started with glass two and then went back to glass one. So I'm giving glass one thumbs up.
Okay.
And I'm giving glass two just okay. Because if I have to pick one to have, I'm going to pick glass one.
Okay. Yeah, again, close but clear for me. Glass one is my favorite, but it's slight. I would say glass two is like 85% of glass one.
I will agree.
Maybe even 90.
I concur.
Maybe even 90, because glass one, when I started with glass two, it was great.
Yeah.
Good. Enjoyed it. Then I went to glass one. It was a little bit more concentrated.
Mm-hmm.
It had a little bit more of like this fried dough, like a fried donut type of thing on the nose that I really liked.
Yeah, you do.
And my favorite thing about both of these glasses is the nose of glass one that just continues to develop and open up.
Yeah.
On the palate, glass one a little more concentrated, a little darker. Glass two still really good. A lot of similar flavors.
Yeah.
Again, it's missing those lower bass notes, but it's got a little bit more on the treble end on glass two. It's a little bit more brighter, lighter, sweeter.
It didn't start out that way, though.
It didn't. No, as these opened up, they kind of changed, and that's why we take our time in that middle section. But I'm gonna go thumbs up on both of them.
Okay.
I like them both. It is close but clear for glass one for me, and that's how I'm feeling right now. I'd like to have a bottle of both of these. Can't wait to find out the pricing and see what we're working with there. So these are way down there. Glass number one is number 86 in our pool. Glass number two is number 85. So let's start with the price on glass number two, our least preferred.
$200.
Are you serious?
I am serious.
85?
Yeah.
What's the price on glass number one, 86?
$100.
Oh, man.
Which, in comparison, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great buy. But then if you separate it, like, it's kind of a bummer that the more expensive one was presented first, because when you compare something for $100 that you like more than something for $200, that seems like an easy yes buy. But $100 is still a pretty decent chunk of change. I do think I'm going to stay thumbs up though on glass one, because I don't think I would want to spend $100 on it, but I do think I wouldn't be disappointed based on what I drank. Being like, okay, I spent $100 on this. I'm not mad about it.
You feel like the value is there.
I feel like the value is there.
You'd let me buy it.
In my opinion, it's an expensive bottle for me to buy, but I would let you buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just tasted them again, and I'm sticking with thumbs up on glass one as well. I like it. I would like to have a bottle. $100 is kind of pushing it for me, but the value seems reasonable enough.
For the concentration of flavors, it seems pretty reasonably priced.
Yeah. Glass two, I'm moving down to a just okay. These both kind of hit me like in that quality standpoint of something like a Calumet 16 or something like that, which is $150, kind of splitting the difference. That's how both of these are coming across, although not quite. I'm not saying they taste like that. I'm just saying overall experience-wise, I think that's what you're getting out of both of these pours, just in slightly different ways. And so, is the value there? Only you can determine that for yourself. We're just speaking to our own personal sensibilities here. So
I'm also staying just okay on glass two.
Okay, so we're
It's
same
not
place.
a thumbs down. It's not
It's not a hard pass.
egregious, but it's a little too much for me.
Yeah. All right. So let's find out glass number 2 first. Number 85. It is.
Four Roses 135th anniversary small batch.
What?
Hold on. Sorry, it's a long thing. I have to.
The candy red and the rye notes make sense now because it's a higher rye mash bill.
Okay.
Okay. Whoa.
And that one is thanks to Bill and Delia Kavanaugh.
What in the world is glass number 1?
Four Roses OBSK
Single barrel.
10-year single barrel, and that's thanks to Joe and Jess Carter.
Joe and Jess, thank you guys.
And
Bill
the
and
small
Delia,
batch,
thank you guys.
I think you guys are seeing it, but the small batch is 108 proof, and the OBSK is 111 proof.
Okay,
plus
so
one.
close and proof.
Yeah.
The small batch limited edition has much older whiskey in it, which we kind of picked up on the first round. But man, the single barrel really came alive.
It came alive. It came through with the power. I think the power of the flavor concentration, I think, really helped that one a lot.
Yeah. And to be fair, I'll go ahead and just freely admit this. I put this in the pool a long time ago.
Yeah.
But I remember putting it in, forgot we even had it in the pool because I specifically remembered the proof being close. Like it's some of these single barrels get up to 120 plus proof.
Gotcha.
The fact that I found a single barrel through the sample that Joe and Jess gave us that was 111 that could kind of get close to this 108.
Yeah.
I thought that would make an interesting matchup. And
It did.
guess what? It did.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
wait, they are in the same family.
They
They're Four
are.
Roses.
Same distillery. I was thinking rye, but they were kind of coming across more like bourbon with just some rye elements. So
Yeah.
high rye bourbon,
There you
like
go.
Four Roses does,
Interesting.
makes a lot of sense. The reason that I thought this would be a good matchup, not only they're the same family and close in proof, I personally, over the last year or so, have really gotten deeper down the rabbit hole of all the Four Roses recipes. And I know that I really like those OBSK and OESK single barrels typically.
Interesting.
So I do have a little bit of a personal palate preference towards those, as well as the V's out of the whole Four Roses lineups.
Okay.
Those two yeast strains, and that's super nerdy talk. If you don't know Four Roses, it's not going to make sense to you.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Prior to last year, when I really dug into it myself, it didn't make sense to me either. It just sounded like Greek, but I've tasted the entire recipe spectrum a few times now, and I do gravitate towards the K and the V yeast strains, although I got to do a pick there with Barrels for Hope, and we picked an F yeast strain. It was by far the best. It was the best single barrel. So you can't always just go on the recipe and what you think you might like.
Yeah.
Although the K and the V were up there for me as well on that pick. The F was just better, but they have 5 different yeast strains, and that's what all these letters stand for. K, O, V,
Yeah. You can.
F, and Q.
Okay.
So anyways, this is fascinating. The
Yeah.
single barrel beat out the LE, and we went just
But for
okay.
both of us.
We went just okay on the LE. And when
Yeah.
I
For the price.
when I drink the limited edition by itself, I really do enjoy it. But this just kind of goes to show you, if you get the right single barrel, it can go toe to toe.
Can.
And we've done 3 different tastings with the entire recipe lineup, plus whatever limited edition was in there, which I had done it a few different ways with different limited editions. The limited edition has never won for us, you or I.
Interesting.
So very interesting. But you're getting a batch product with the limited edition, and
Yeah.
it's a little bit more safer than a single barrel. So
Yeah.
anyways, this was a fun one. Hopefully you
was.
enjoyed it. Are these worth buying? Only you can determine that. Only your budget can determine that. I think for me, if I get the opportunity to buy a Four Roses limited edition, I'm probably going to buy it just because I'm a nerd and I would love to have that bottle.
I'm probably going to pass
Yeah.
because $200 is a lot for something that is just, it's good,
Yeah.
but it's a lot. It's a lot of money.
Here's the thing. Not a bottle I'm probably going to break the budget on if I'm over budget and deal with your wrath.
Fair. Smart.
I'll save that for bottles that are
worth it.
more into my palate preference. So tons of fun. If you had fun, give this video a thumbs up. We'd really appreciate that. Think about subscribing to the channel if you like blind tastings and you want more of these honest opinions in your feed. Hit the bell if you want to join us for a live stream. We would love for you to join us for a pour. And check out our Patreon if you're looking for a good online community full of good people who love good whiskey, always down to share. Samples are getting swapped. People are helping people find bottles. It's a fantastic community. The best one that there is out there, if you ask me. We also do bonus content. We release our barrel picks. We're trying to get a Four Roses pick. It's impossible, but we're still trying. We do these all the time. We've got a bunch coming out this year. So join in if you'd like to.
Yep.
And you can check out shirts like this one and other things at stuffandwhiskey.com, the website.
Absolutely.
It's a treasure trove of goodies and goodness. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be good to each other. And until next time.
Cheers. Man,
That was good.
I was on the right track.
I picked up that they were from the same family too. I'm so proud of myself.
Yeah. They
tasted similar.
They taste similar. And
But it's weird how the second one didn't taste as, quote, watered down until I tasted it first and then went to glass one.
man.
You know?
Yeah, I thought the limited edition was darker when we first went to it, but as they opened up more, the first glass
one
really
became
came alive.
More, yeah.